welcome to my channel. If you've been following my Halloween 2017 series of cards, you may recognize some of these little bits of paper. After I did all the cards, this is the scraps that I had left over, and I decided to make a quick video showing how you can use this little bit of scraps in some panels of colored stock and white stock and make some panels, so that way I will be ahead of the game next time I'm ready to make Halloween cards. This will work, of course, with any themed paper. It's just this is all the Halloween paper that I have, so I'm going to be making panels for Halloween. So it's a very simple matter of taking these little strips and putting them on a standard card front, which is 5 inches by 3 3/4, and then matting it to a standard mat size, which is 5 1/4 by 4. And then after that, it's just a matter of deciding what stamp you're going to put on there, what embellishments. But this video is going to be focusing on making those panels. So without further ado, let me just clear this away to make a little bit of room. But remember, this is what I'm going to be working with. Be right back. Alright, the first thing I did was go through and cut all of the long pieces to be at least 4 1/4. So the solid color papers, they started off at 8 1/2 by 11, so I had 5 1/2 inches or 8 1/2 inches for each of the solid colors. So I cut those all to be at least 4 1/4. And for the pattern paper, there was some 12 by 12, so I cut them into 4. So the process that I'm going to do, I have sorted everything by my front panel, my mats, into individual colors. So what I'm going to do is take my tape gun and just lay the different pieces in place in a pattern that looks nice, I think. So I'm going to start off with this black one. Oops. And just line it up straight. And now I'm going to put an orange one, I think. I'm going to, in this case, put tape on the actual paper, because some of these are going to be kind of narrow. And just butt the two pieces together as close as you can, as straight as you can. The important part about doing this with paper scraps is to be as neat as you can, because if you have it going all over the place, it's really not going to look good. And now I'm going to put in a strip of green. Okay. Now flip it over and trim those edges that are hanging off, and this becomes trash. Can't save all of it, but you can save most of it. Okay. Now here's one panel ready to go, and I can take it. I seem to have some adhesive somewhere. Take it and take a paper that's not in here, for example this one, and put it on like this, and then it just needs a sentiment. So that I'm going to go through and do all the rest. Okay, these are all the panels that I was able to get. So let's see. This one I spent a little time with because when I put the polka dot up against this black lettered one, it seemed to blend into it, and I didn't like how that looked. So you just have to have an eye for it as you're going through these strips. So let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Lucky number 13. And through this process, there's a little bit of places where if you don't line it up just perfectly, you'll have a little bit of a raggedy edge. But that's just a simple matter of taking your paper trimmer. Let me find one that has a good rag. This is a good one where it's not quite lined up. This is up a little bit. This is down a little bit. So just take your paper trimmer. You need a really good one. A guillotine is the best. And just trim off a hair of it. And you be really careful so that you don't make the paper go yucky. So there we go. Almost none. But now I have a straight edge. And I'll do the same on the other side. And you also have to be sure that your adhesive really stays in place. So you may need to touch it up a little bit with a little bit of tape. See, I didn't tape it quite to the end here. So I'm going to have to, I don't know if you could see it. I'm going to have to go through with a little bit of glue and glue that edge down. Also, in places where there is a little adhesive stuck from the top, then you just take your adhesive eraser and carefully go over it and pull that adhesive off. Another thing you could do is to take some very fine glitter and just sprinkle it all over and rub it in. And so that way, where if you had like a thin layer of adhesive here, you'd have a thin line of glitter. Totally two things you could do there. All right, so now I have all of these panels and a bunch of junk off screen here. So I can take these other bits and just put them on here and make a card. Of course, I would probably want to mat that so that it sticks out a little bit. So pretend this is a panel. I don't want to go and cut it just to illustrate this. Boom, boom. Okay. So now here is an instant card. So what am I going to do now that I have finished my Halloween mailing? Because this is clearly Halloween cards. This is what I'm going to do. If you leave me a comment down below, I will send you a couple of these panels and a few of these to go with it, and a couple of shapes also to go with it, so you can make your own Halloween cards so that you can have a Halloween card kit, as it were, so that you can prepare this and send out your own mailing next year. So I'm going to send, I guess maybe 2 or 3 per pack. So there'll be plenty for you to choose from. Let me know if you would want to get one of these pre-packaged Halloween pack of cards. Card supplies, let me be clear. I'm not going to make the cards, I'm just going to give you the supplies so that you can try your hand at it yourself. I hope that you will learn something from watching me go through these little strips here so that you can master dealing with your own paper scraps, because every time you cut 8.5 by 11 paper, you end up with these little scraps of paper. And this is a way to use that material instead of throwing it away. Because as you saw, it started off, it looked like a bunch of trash, but here I got 13 ready to go panels from those scraps, and they all look very nice, and it's all very color coordinated, and it's a nice theme. This in fact doesn't have to be Halloween if there's people that like black and orange green. Okay, changed my mind. I decided to make panels out of all of those scraps. So in addition to these, which are made from the strips, which I've showed you, I now have these, which are made from the larger panels. So that means there's going to be a lot of stuff that I have to give away. So you can get yours if you leave me a comment. After all was said and done, and after I cut down all those materials and put the card kits together, this is what I ended up with. I'm going to send you everything that's in this bag so that you can make 4 of your own cards, at least 4. You could maybe stretch it and make some more. To give you an idea, this is a card that I made based from what was in the kit. I have a little, oh, his arm got bent. Sorry, Drac. I have a little vampire, and I did a little bit of stamping onto the white area. I have a sentiment here, and I have a little sparkly bat and a little butcher's twine. So this goes together in no time. So you're getting the panel and a couple of embellishments. You can make a card just like this. So let me open the kits up and show you exactly what you're getting. Okay, let's go through it. I'm giving you 3 pieces of watercolor paper. You can do anything you want on watercolor paper, but you can specifically do watercolor techniques. 3 pieces of regular cardstock that you could use for, 4 pieces of regular card strips that you could use for sentiments. A bag of embellishments. There are little cutouts in here of owls. And there's also, let's open this up. I didn't want this to get too long, but I do want to show you what's in here. Okay. These little guys are on watercolor paper, so you can watercolor them. Or if you didn't want to watercolor it, you could just fill it in with markers. Any kind of watercolor media would work. There is 2 sentiments that say Happy Halloween, but you can of course get your own sentiments. Some baker's twine, some foamy bats, some spiders. You're either going to have a glitter spider web or a glitter spider. It varies. Some pumpkin stickers, some of them are glittery, like this one, and some aren't. And here are the owls. Okay? I'm going to have a heck of a time getting all that back in there. Oh, I do want to give you an opportunity to see the cutouts that are in here. You have a vampire, a skeleton, a mummy, a scarecrow, and 3 different owls in 3 different colors. You can fancy up the owls by putting googly eyes on their existing eyes, but that's totally up to you. 3 pieces of pattern cardstock, 2 pieces of pattern cardstock, 1 piece of vellum, which is gold. And this is cut 4 by 3. And you're going to get 4 panels. This is going to vary. These are the panels that you saw me make. 4 white mats for the inside of the card. 4 colored mats for the outside of the card. A strip of cobwebbing border. This is regular cardstock. 4 envelopes, of course, and 4 card bases. All of this is going to be in the kit. You can make 4 cards at a minimum with this. Okay, so that's everything that's going to be in the kit. So you can keep this until next year, and you will be 1 step ahead of your Halloween cards, or you could go ahead and make them up if you wanted to now. It's totally up to you. This is the end of my Halloween series of cards. The next card series I'm going to be doing is going to be Thanksgiving, but I'm a little bit behind on a couple of birthday cards, so I'm going to be doing a couple of birthday card videos in the next week or so. But please stay tuned afterwards for my Thanksgiving videos. I'd like to thank everyone for their support that they give. I'd really like to thank my brother for all of the spooky music that he's provided. He's already told me that he's working on Thanksgiving music. I can't wait to get that. Let me show you this card too. Please subscribe to my channel. If you haven't, please pass the word. I try to put out content pretty frequently, and I'm a little bit behind, but I'm getting caught up as much as I can. Thanks for watching, everyone, and happy Halloween. Take care.